Tuesday, 30th December, 10:30 p.m. viewers. Hello and welcome. You're still watching us on ERi-TV, presenting you the domestic and international news prepared for this session, live from our headquarters in Asmara. I'm Hermela Gramay, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students Activity Assessment Meeting. Popular campaign to harvest crops of families of martyrs. UK records highest ever weapons exports in 2025. And train derails in southern Mexico, killing 13 and injuring dozens. And your domestic and brief. The National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students conducted an activity assessment meeting for 2025 and discussion on the plan of action for 2026 from 26th to 28th December in Asmara. According to reports presented at the meeting, effective programs have been carried out in administrations and schools to enhance political and organizational capacity, as well as the participation of youth and students, to develop students' interest and motivation in education, and to strengthen social awareness and productivity. A detailed report was also presented on programs to which the Union gives due attention, focusing on civic training programs, political seminars, organizational weeks, festivals of higher education institutions, the ERi-TV Organization Week, and encouragement of outstanding students, among others. Extensive discussions was also conducted regarding youth centers and their contribution to enhancing awareness, creativity, health, and other youth-related issues. The participants also adopted various recommendations, including strengthening youth and student-centered awareness-raising programs, developing the ERi-TV organization, organizing training programs with a view to enhancing the overall capacity of youth, organizing programs to enhance innovation and creativity among youth, as well as conducting seminars and other promotional activities in line with resilience and development programs. Noting that the commendable implementation of the programs was the result of active participation by parents, the community, government, and PFDJ institutions, as well as the youth and students themselves, Mr. Salah Ahmeddin, chairman of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students, said that programs aimed at enhancing the participation and contribution of youth and students will be organized down to the level of area administrations. Mr. Yusuf Sayed, head of organizational affairs of the PFDJ, on his part, called on the union to finalize its 5-year strategic plan and strive for its effective implementation. Crops belonging to families of martyrs and disadvantaged citizens have been harvested in Ad-Dukhala subzone in collaboration with education and agricultural offices, students, government workers, as well as members of the defense forces. Participants in the popular campaign said that the program was part of an ongoing initiative to support families of martyrs and disadvantaged citizens, and that it carries deep meaning, indicating that as a result of abundant rainfall, crops cultivated on about 20,000 hectares of land in Ad-Dukhala subzone are in good condition. Mr. Kidanamaram Laaka, representative of the agriculture office in the subzone, said that popular campaigns have been conducted on 262 hectares of land to ensure the harvest is collected on time. According to the report, 594 mm of rainfall was registered within 31 days this year. Vocational training on ceramics has been provided to 50 women in Longo Asaba subzone in collaboration with the National Union of Eritrean Women and its partners. Mrs. Tsigawe Gebrselassie, head of the union branch in the subzone, said that the trainees were drawn from administrative areas of Debri Adhans, Malarka, Dekshahai, and received 4 months of training. She added that the objective of the program was to equip the women with skills and enable them to become self-supportive and productive members of society. Mrs. Dag Atasfa Mikael, president of the National Union of Eritrean Women, and Mr. Abraham Hagos, administrator of the subzone, on their part, called on the trainees to apply the skills they acquired in income-generating activities and improve their livelihoods. The event was also attended by Mrs. Lu'il Gebraab, Minister of Labor and Social Welfare. Dear viewers, do stay tuned for our international news right after the short break. Welcome back. The United Kingdom recorded its highest level of weapons exports in 2025 since official records began in 1983, according to a statement issued by the British Defence Ministry. London secured $27 billion in arms sales this year, marking a historic peak for the British defence industry. The ministry attributed much of this growth to rising global demand. Half of the total exports stemmed from €10 billion agreement with Norway to supply at least 5 type of 26 frigates. The ministry also confirmed what it described as the largest fighter jet deal in a generation, involving the sale of 20 Typhoon aircraft to Turkey for $10.8 billion, aimed at strengthening NATO's southern flank. The UK has been one of Ukraine's strongest supporters since the escalation of the conflict with Russia in 2022, providing $29.5 billion in military and financial assistance. London is committed to maintaining its position as a global leader in defense exports, where further deals are expected in the year 2026. Last month, Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced $34.4 billion in tax increasing, partly to raise defense spending to 2.6% of GDP by 2027. Russia has criticized Britain and other European states for what it calls aggressive militarization, warning it could fuel broader conflict. In other news, a train carrying 250 people derailed partially in southern Mexico, killing at least 13 people and injuring 98, according to officials. The Mexican Navy said that the interoceanic train linking the states of Oaxaca and Veracruz went off the rails on Sunday as it passed a curve near the town of Nizanda. The train was carrying 9 crew members and 241 passengers at the time of the accident. Of those on board, 139 were reported to be out of danger, while 36 of the 98 injured are still receiving medical assistance, with at least 5 in serious condition. Mexico's Attorney General's office said it was opening an investigation to determine the cause of the accident. On December 20th, a train on the same road collided with a cargo truck attempting to cross the tracks, although the incidents didn't result in any deaths. The line was inaugurated in 2023 as a major infrastructure project under then-President Andrés Manuel López Obrador to develop southeast Mexico. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for this session, and now it's time for a quick recap of the major headlines. National Union of Eritrea Youth and Student Activity Assessment Meeting. Popular campaign to harvest graves of families of martyrs. UK records highest ever weapons exports in 2025. And train derails in southern Mexico, killing 13 and injuring dozens. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all for tonight. Thank you for having us and have a blessed one. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.